Hello, everyone, and good morning. Welcome to our live feed update for September 21st. I'm your host, Taran Armstrong, and with me today is Matt. How you doing, Matt?
Doing great. Happy to be back here, and I know there's a lot to go over today, so I don't know how we're going to squeeze it all into this update here. And I know you try to keep it nice and tight, but there's a lot to get to, so I'm sure we should just get right into it.
Yeah. We are here to update you on everything that happened yesterday on the Big Brother 24 live feeds. It was day 77 in the house. And yes, so much to talk about.
A lot, right? I mean, I have notes on 3 of their naps. Did you get Monty's nap? I didn't get Monty's nap notes.
There were a few different naps. I don't know if you were tracking the card games very closely, but there was a lot of that as well. Yeah, not much
The sheets
here.
were like, they pull up the sheets over and then they lay on their side and go to sleep, and then they pull the sheets back down. Then they walk to the kitchen, and then sometimes they sit down with the cards, and sometimes they make food, and sometimes there's M&Ms, and that was the day.
That genuinely was pretty much the day. Lots of nothing here. Taylor spends a good portion of it studying, going over events. She did use some M&Ms at one point. Monty was also studying a little bit, or at least trying to, according to him. Really not much here until Brittany comes and talks to Taylor in the HOH room. She's going to tell Taylor that, they're going to go over like the campaign for Brittany again. It's pretty hopeless though, so we don't need to get into it too much. Brittany does though tell Taylor that she's going to try and rally the women to vote for her to win. They would need the women plus Michael to get Taylor the win. They do continue to agree that Monty is her better shot. You should take Monty, not Turner. Turner will beat you. Monty, who knows?
Which, Brittany's subtly still dropping like, well, Turner's a big threat. You can't keep him in the house. You can't have Turner around. Otherwise, you're not going to win this game, obviously, as she's still up in contention against Turner to be the one that gets evicted this week. So she's trying. It's not going anywhere. It's she's really getting as close as she possibly can to the acceptance phase of all of this without actually being like all the way there, because something within her, this super fan within her, this, wanting to be there for all these reasons, it's just not letting her get all the way there, even though like the writing is on the walls. But yeah, between her talking about what's best for Taylor's game moving forward, and just her not getting over the Michael stuff, which it's crazy watching. She just truly can't get over all this stuff. She just likes to talk. That's Brittany's thing, and that's what I have in my notes from yesterday. A lot of Brittany talking.
Yeah, she talked a lot about Monty. She said, he's got an inflated sense of his own game. She tells Taylor, he was so mad at you for the headphones. And he was telling me that, like, oh, it would be really easy for me to let things fester. But the courageous thing to do would be to address it head on. Like, excuse me? Who do you think you are? Superman? You are human. Like, what are you talking about, Monty? Says Brittany. This is Big Brother. Just because you think you've played a clean game doesn't mean you have. And playing a clean game doesn't mean you should win Big Brother. This game isn't about how clean and risk averse you can be. That's a soggy game.
And we have seen a lot of games over the past couple of years be so clean and so strategizing this and that, and some great games, and then you get to the end, and I'm talking more in like the Paul and Tyler days of we're so sure that somebody was doing so well. So it is interesting to hear the final thoughts of these jury members as they're on their way out, to just hear what they're looking for, hear what they think of these people, and what they think of their games. And she'll have time between now and when she actually casts her vote. But I do find it fascinating. We're obviously not getting anything from the rest of the jury. It's been very quiet on that end of things. So hearing from one jury member still currently in the house, I do find it interesting.
Yeah, and I think that for me, obviously Brittany's been saying a lot about like how she's going to try and rally the women and try to rally the votes for Taylor against Monty. I think that rightfully so. There's been a lot of skepticism as to her ability to do so. That said, I do think that there is a very reasonable line of thought that would say like, hey, if she does bring up the fact that Monty is trying to claim he's playing a clean game, because we've been seeing that on the feeds, we've been seeing that in the house, but I don't think the jury really knows yet that he's going to try and claim that he's played this like clean game. He's going to prove he's going to be an example to every other Big Brother winner that you can play a clean game and win the game. Like, we know that's not going to play well to the jury. But usually by the time he says that in the final two questions, if he even gets to it, it's probably too late to change anybody's mind. However, if Brittany does go to the jury roundtable and says, "Oh yeah, Monty's in that house saying I played the cleanest game ever," and all this stuff, I do think that could have an impact on jury votes. In particular, I think that Michael and Indy will be the most upset by Monty making this claim, because Michael has been directly betrayed by Monty, who spent the entire week telling him he wouldn't target him. I don't think Michael is like hugely upset about being lied to, but if you're being lied to and then the person claims that they've played the cleanest game ever, you're going to be like, excuse me? And then Indy, who had a close relationship with Monty, wanted to work with Monty, felt like she had like a final three with Monty at one point, and then felt very betrayed by him. I think she's also going to take exception to the idea that Monty is trying to claim that he had a clean game. So of all of the things that Brittany might say about Monty's game, I think her letting them know that he's trying to claim that he's played a clean game could be the most damaging.
And I feel like there's a lot of, thoughts out there like, well, it's Brittany that's coming with the information, so who's going to care what she has to say or whatnot? But I mean, you have to obviously keep in mind that these people are waiting for the next juror to come in. They're waiting for any game information to tell them what's been going on while they haven't been there. They might get some footage on the DVD that shows up. If they're not even going to get that with Brittany showing up, I would imagine, because they're going to go straight into the round table, I think, right? Or either way, they're going to really have to rely on some of the things that she's been saying to fill them in from the past week. So again, they're waiting for any information. They're waiting to hear how their games are shaping up in these final days. And yeah, I think absolutely, Michael, Indy, maybe a couple of the others are gonna hear the things that she has to say. And if it's influential towards helping Taylor succeed, then I do think that could be, even if it's not like, oh, we're gonna just listen to anything Brittany says, she's gonna have a little bit of an impact. Every little inch along the way towards this end game matters.
And even if they are like, well, do we believe Brittany? Do we buy this? And these jury questions can be very fickle, but there's a chance they try to get a question in for Monty about like, did you play a clean game? And then, wait for his response. And if he responds poorly, then maybe they don't vote for him, right? So I think this is definitely something that could impact some jury votes. They then go on to talk about podcasts. Something I got a little bit of a clip here.
There are certain days with the live feeds on that Rob has a podcast. I'm gonna go to a certain day and be like, oh no, what do they have to say?
Yeah, don't listen to your HOH week, Taylor.
I think I'm gonna listen to them all.
Oh yeah,
I think I'm gonna listen to them all, and I think maybe I'll just make it like a walk around the neighborhood, and that's just the podcast I listen to.
Yep.
Just go deep.
She's going to walk right back home. She's not going to be on that walk very long.
You think?
Oh, yeah.
You think anyone will talk to her?
I don't remember Ozza doing many podcasts.
Did one with Ozzy.
I know Tiffany. I mean, who doesn't want to talk to Tiffany about
Yeah.
Did one with Tiffany.
And maybe some of them didn't want to. I would love. Anybody wants to talk to me, I will talk about it all day long.
Love to.
I would love to talk to it about it.
Yeah, I don't remember Ozza doing many. Because I remember listening to them before coming here. Because you talk to the people about their perspective on their game.
Yeah.
But it's so interesting because even though you are the one playing the game, you only know what you know.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, these people have been analyzing everything for
everything.
months.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm probably learning more from them than explaining my own stuff.
That's.
Yep.
So, I mean, I know you were hoping and planning to, and it seems like this is a sure thing that you will be talking to Taylor at some point, but oh my God, you're going to talk to Taylor at some point. That's, you better be ready.
I just, I feel like a lot of players don't recognize that they often learn a lot from coming out of the house. I think it's, there are definitely players who are like, all right, let me tell you all about the thing. And then they talk to me and they're like, wait a minute, you knew about that. Oh, okay. And wait, you're telling me about what? And as you're
getting into, and everything for it, the conversation with Taylor is not going to be very fun. Just like tomorrow's podcast is going to be very fun, like reliving a lot of like the negative things. Oh, am I by myself? That doesn't seem good. I'm not Jacob Jones. A lot of the comments and everything that started throughout the season, everything that's gotten us to this point with Taylor. It's not going to be fun to relive it all. I think the season as a whole, when we look back on it, hopefully with the Taylor win at the end, will be a lot more stomachable, just to get through all of it and say, but look, she came out on top. And even if, knocking on every piece of wood, it doesn't happen that way. She still made it way farther than she should have, defied all the odds. So I think we're all obviously hoping for that end result where we can look back on the beginning and just make fun of every single person along the way that was, a victim of the karma of Taylor. But going back through it all, and I hope that, she has all the love and support. And obviously I'm sure, anybody that she talks to, you and anybody else will, just reassure her that, they said a lot of terrible things, but you did nothing wrong.
Yeah. So that was pretty much what they were talking about. Monty and Taylor are going to have a very awkward, like, second breakup kind of conversation. They're like hanging out in the HOH room. It's super awkward. They're just like chatting. And then eventually, like, the conversation kind of just like starts to fizzle. And he's just like, She's like, So I think I'm gonna sleep downstairs tonight. For as much as you were studying today, I was also studying downstairs, but my head was kind of cloudy today. I don't know if it was lack of sleep or anything, but I just want to relax, Just like that's fine. We don't have to sleep in the same bed every night. And he's like, good, yeah, okay. I just don't want you to think anything of it. Like, it seemed like you were totally chill just now, but I just don't think anything of it, okay? And she's like, are you comfortable with what went down last night? As far as, you wanted, oh yeah, like, yeah. I think, yeah. I think, like, looking back, like, maybe not a regret or anything like that, but just like wanting to be able to control my urges to do that sort of stuff. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying it's a bad thing to do. It's more like, I think that's more like where I was wanting to go about certain things in a certain way, but no, I think maybe I didn't set the right boundary for myself, being in that situation and that sort of stuff. So, but that's it, that's it.
This has been a fun week for you, hasn't it? It's almost Sunday. But the part as far as like their, I guess, intimacy goes is how Taylor's like, I would be fine with it, just like laying together and cuddling. And he's like, yeah, but things happen when we start laying together, so I can't really promise anything on that end of things. And she's like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, she's like, well, I don't know, like, am I able to just like cuddle with you, or like what is the boundary? What is the line? What is acceptable for you? And he's like, I do kind of feel like I'm in high school right now, and anything could set me off. So, yeah, I don't know.
To be fair, not just in the bedroom, Monty does seem like he never left high school. Like, a lot of parts of his personality are have not grown up, but that's okay. Or not, but yeah, this again, Sunday cannot come soon enough for some people watching, for Taylor just to get out of this situation, to get out of this house, and to move on past all of this awkwardness. Yeah, it's uncomfortable to watch, because that both of them are just like they're both content at this moment in time with like sleeping in separate beds. But I feel like Monty's making it way more awkward than he needs to be. Just say you're gonna sleep downstairs and whatever. Bye.
Yeah, he's all right. I'm gonna go downstairs now. He gets up and he gives her a hug,
A long hug.
which lasts like 2 minutes, and it's so awkward because it's like she's like hugging like head into chest, and he's like looking down, like waiting for like a kiss. And she looks up and sees that he's sort of like waiting for a kiss, and she's just kind of like not doing it because she's like, I feel like you just told me you didn't want to do that. And then it's like super awkward as they're like they have this weird like standoff. And then eventually she goes in and accepts the kiss. And then he leaves. And she's like, yeah, get out of here before you change your mind. And he's like, oh yeah. It's just like, whoa, it was weird.
Yeah, I mean, they really, as far as as I'm scrubbing through, I was certainly not going to sit there and watch every single second of the actual napping. It didn't seem like they spent a whole lot of time together throughout the day. They obviously, when they were all together playing cards or whatever. But she was up in the HOH room a lot studying, and just the past couple of days, it's been obviously it's been getting interesting sometimes at nighttime, weirder in the daytime. Monty makes his comments, and then we're kind of back in this again uncomfortable spot. So. We're getting so close to being able to. I mean, first of all, the HOH room is almost done. So tomorrow, right? I assume will be. Taylor will not have the HOH room anymore. They'll all be downstairs. They'll lock that room up. And then are they going to sleep in the same bed when it's just them and Turner in the house? I doubt it. So this will make it easier for Taylor to not have to deal with this awkwardness. Monty may still want to sleep in the bed with Taylor because it does seem like, as much as he says we don't need to do this every night, he does look like he wants to. Like he wasn't letting go of the hug.
He needs to control his urges.
Sure. So again, we're getting close. Bad wording. To this not being something we have to listen to and watch, and Taylor has to be involved in.
Yeah, and that's really like it's not a lot else to talk about here today.
Yeah, no, it was a lot of playing cards. Like they were talking about it before they got to the awkwardness. Well, during the awkwardness, it was all awkward. About how did they even happen? Like, was it a real day? The amount of cards that they were playing, it reminded me of that time that we first discovered Secret Hitler, and we spent an entire day in one of the New York Airbnbs, like from like the second we woke up until like 1 o'clock in the morning, like just play. And it was like, okay, I mean, we're playing a game, you're having a decent time, just whatever. That's just the vibe that it gave off. Like this day just passed them by. They did not even realize it. They, Brittany and Taylor had that one game talk. If you can even call it a game talk, it was really just talk. Brittany just needs somebody to listen to her. She's trying the cameras, and the cameras probably turn away from her as well throughout the day. But there's really, we're pretty much done here. It's time for Brittany to go. It's time for us to get to these final comps and get a move on here and call it a wrap.
I feel like such missed opportunity that they have reality contestants just like chilling for like a week with nothing to do. Like whole reality shows are filmed in a week. Like do some weird stuff, Like they used to like give them some temptations of like, hey, if you take this cash prize, you can punish the house. Like do some weird stuff, just like anything, to give them something to do, give us something to watch. Like, why not? What's the point of not doing anything?
Yeah, and no one's asking for another set of cards or like a basketball and a bucket. Like maybe Monty's asking for a ball, but literally anything would be nice at this point. Just some kind of like task during the day. It doesn't even have to make it into the episode. I mean, if it's anything good and you want to squeeze it into the episode, I'm sure they could use some filler content, especially if the jury keeps disappearing on us. But hopefully that's not the case. Anything would be nice to just keep them entertained. They're doing nothing. They're falling asleep. And this is, they have to spend the next couple of days, at least the final 3, getting pumped up for these last competitions and re-energizing themselves. But their energy level is just below the surface. Like it's not there. There's nothing like what is going to wake them up? Brittany walking out the door. Maybe that would wake me up because I'd be happy to, not have that energy around anymore. But other than that, they're really just half asleep all day long.
Yeah.
Playing with some chips and M&Ms.
Well, that's about what we have for you then today. I will be back tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern to update you on, theoretically everything that happens today on the Big Brother 24 live feeds. But in addition to that, I'll be talking about Taylor's Big Brother 24 game across the season. So stay tuned for that if you want to hear about what Taylor has done. You might be surprised at perhaps some of the savviness that I've seen so far in terms of ensuring her own safety in the early portion of the game, especially if you feel like she just kind of got lucky to some degree. I would contend with that statement, and I would argue against it. I think with this game recap tomorrow, at least in the early portion. I haven't gotten to the later portions because it's a lot of work. But stay tuned for that tomorrow. I'll of course be live on Twitch tonight watching the Survivor premiere. So come join me. It's gonna be a good time. We're going to hang out. We're going to watch it. We're going to react, make predictions on the episode. It's going to be a good time. And then, of course, the Amazing Race premiere as well with Claire and Derek X running the Amazing Race together. Very, very cool. Wouldn't it be great if they won? You know, let's find out. Hopefully they're not first out. You know, that would suck.
Oh my god.
So tune in for that tonight on Twitch, and then of course tomorrow, Thursday, it will be the eviction episode. I'll be watching live on Twitch for that as well, and then afterward podcast to recap it all. And find me on Twitter at Armstrong Taran. I talked about House of the Dragon and releasing some Among Us videos over on YouTube. So check out all of that stuff. Matt, where can people find you?
On Twitter at Matt Liguori. Just wrapped up the challenge USA, which was a great finale. No, it wasn't. It was a mess. But that's over with, and now season 38 will be starting soon. So be over on the Dom and Colin podcast talking about that. And yeah, otherwise just on Twitter at Matt Liguori. Didn't spend a whole lot of time in the BB24 streets, at least on podcasts, but did enjoy the Taylor halo of it all the way through. Again, hoping that we end up with some good results here at the end. And yeah, the recap tomorrow should be interesting because I feel like we spent the past 70 whatever days, watching so hesitantly as she navigated through all of these people that just wanted the worst for her at so many different times and had the worst things to say about her at so many different times, and that were just being ugly in so many different ways. So it was a lot of focus on them while hoping that Taylor was able to stay safe through it. But she certainly was doing plenty on her own underneath it all to keep herself, kind of tucked inside some good spots and in close with some good friends and allies along the way that obviously didn't all pan out. But again, this she's got here to the final 3 with a very good chance at final 2 and a very good chance at winning. So going through that game, it might have its ugly times, but it'll be definitely interesting to hear all of the things that, that she did successfully and she's gotten herself here. So I'm excited to see how it all plays out. And that's all I got.
All right. Well, that's what we have for you then. Thank you so much for joining us here today. And I will see all of you next time.